All right, hello everyone. Today, this is our video for making our fishnet mason jars for our teen try-its. So in your bag, you're going to get a mason jar and then a bunch of jute. There should be 10 very long pieces, and then let's see, there's another long piece. There should be 2 shorter pieces in your bundle. One very short one, about this long. I'll put that there. And then one about this long. It's going to be slightly longer than our short piece over here, like you see. Take this really short piece and put it to the side because we're not going to use that right now. So first we need to start our jar. So this piece is the piece that's going to be tied around the rim of the jar, like so. This morning what we need to do first is we have 10 long pieces of jute. You're going to take one piece of jute, very long. I'm folding it in half. Just like that, so we've got a loop on one end and the 2 ends there. And what you're going to do is, I'm going to do this in the air, but it really helps to do this against the table. You're going to put that under that short piece of string, take the 2 ends, thread it through as well as you can, and then holding each sides of the short piece, tie it like that. And we're going to do this 10 times. I'm going to put this on a time lapse, and be sure to leave about an inch or so on each end while you're adding them. And they actually move really easily back and forth, so no worries about if one's too close to the other. And now I'm on my final piece of long jute. I'm going to put the loop underneath our short piece and pull through. Be really careful on this last one. It's easy for them to get tangled, but they end up looking like pretzels when you finally pull them. All right, so if we took both ends, we now have this kind of necklace-like thing. We're gonna just take a second to scooch them and try and evenly space them apart from each other. They don't have to be perfect, and you can always scooch them when it's on the jar. But now, our next step is gonna be taking our jar, and we're gonna tie 2 knots. So put it around the rim, one end under the other, first knot, like that, and then a second knot. So we're going to do like a box knot. Okay, and now you can scooch your little knots along to make them more even. Sorry, that wasn't in the camera view. Like this. And once you think you've got it kind of even, we're going to start our knots. So this kind of looks like a jellyfish right now. But if you can see, let me zoom in a little bit. You can see we've got 2 strings to each knot here. So we're going to take, we're going to take a string from 2 different knots. So take the left string of this knot, and we're going to take the right string of this knot, like this. And then we're just going to make a loop on itself. So take the 2 strings, take the 2 ends, you're going to pull the ends through this loop, and we're going to make a knot. And we want this knot to be maybe almost an inch below, like that. And the way this is how we're going to create our first row. If we imagine this as our row 0, we're going to make a first row. So then we would take the left string of that knot we just worked on and the right string of the knot to the side of it. I'm going to try and do this. You can move your strings away to make this easier. I know this is a lot. And bring this closer. You're going to hold the 2 strings, make a loop, and pull through the 2 ends. Make sure you get both ends. And then try and make it about as tall as the one next to it. And remember, these are knots, so they can move around a little easily. Alright, and just like that, we're going to repeat the pattern. Left of this one, right of the one to the next of it. We're making kind of a triangle shape here. You're going to make sure that you make a loop and pull both of those ends through the loop and create a knot. Alright friends, I'm going to put this on a time lapse and I'll meet back with you once we're toward the end of this. Alright, welcome back. If we've been doing this right, we should have 2 strings left. And you're going to make your last loop with those 2 strings. It's a noisy jar. Just like that. And now when we look around our jar, there should be a full row of knots. Every one of these strings was used. Okay, so this is the pattern we're going to do for the rest of the jar. It's always going to be 1 string from each knot. So these are our new set of first row. It's our second row. And the way that you want to make sure that you're doing it correctly is that we're going to make a diamond shape. So start with left and right of each knot. And then make a diamond by making this knot. Just like that. Let's try another one. Scooch it over. Take the right of this one, the left of this knot. Bring them together. We should see a diamond shape. Then you're going to create that knot. Pull it tight. We should see that diamond shape forming. I'll do it a couple more times so we can see. Make sure we're not using these strings. We're using the strings of only the first row dots. The first row knots. Right of this one, left of this one, bring them together. We see a diamond. Pull through. And you're going to want to make sure you tighten that without pulling too hard. So now you can see we're starting to do our fishnet. This is where the name of the jar is coming from. Take the right of this knot, the left of this knot. Make another diamond. Ooh, don't let that other string get in there. Make a diamond, make a loop, make the knot, pull through. Alright, so this is the pattern for the rest of the jar. Once you finish this row, you're going to do exactly what we did. And you're going to keep making these diamond patterns. And I'll check back in with you when we are all the way to the bottom. All right, so we've reached almost the bottom of our jar. This is about as far as I'm going to go for our craft and teaching. But you see we've got all these diamonds, we've got a bunch of knots, And you probably should have done about maybe about 5 or 6 rows. You could go all the way to 8 if you want to get all the way to the bottom. It really just depends on how long you make these strings in the way. But just when you're about here, I'm going to do it with you anyway how my project is. We're going to take that string we had from over there. I did a double knot just like we did with this first string. So box knot, just one knot on top of another. And then this is going to rest in the middle of our jar. So we have a bunch of loose ends that we need to tie up. So what we're going to do, here we go, is you're going to take one of the knots. Oh goodness. You're going to take one of the knots, and this part's a little bit tricky. So you're going to take the 2 strings of this one knot. You're going to put them through the loop. We're going to do a little loop like we did, through the loop, and through there. We're making a knot. I'll do this again. I'm sorry, it's not that easy to see. And then that will be this knot to the loop. So you see I've created a knot there. I'll show you again, and I'll try and be a little clearer this time. Take these 2 strings, put them through the loop, then bring them back around and just make a knot on itself. It's just that the loop is going to be in the middle of this knot. That's all we're doing. Nothing super special here. Let me show that again. I think it's hard to do this on camera. There we go. Oh goodness. All right, again, so here's our loop. You're gonna take these strings of this knot. You're gonna put them through the loop. Sorry, this whole thing is unruly. Then, when we're here, you're gonna make a knot. So twist into a loop, just like how we were making knots for the project. Then you're gonna pull through. And pull tight. See, we've got, this is what it's gonna look like at the end. Then pull it tight. And again, these are all gonna be really clumped up tight. So push them off to the side. I'll do a couple more because I know this is a little unclear. Stick it through the loop. Then make a knot with the loop inside. All right, starting to get the hang of it. I'm starting to teach it a little better. Take these random knot strings, stick them into the loop. This will be a little easier when you have worked your way up farther in the jar. See here, we're going to make a knot. Oh goodness. We're going to make a knot. It can be big, and then you can tie it tighter. It's just a really simple knot like we've been doing around the whole thing. And then you can cut these ends off. Actually, it'll make it a little easier. Here again, take this knot through our loop. Try not to get it tangled with the other ones. And make a knot, bringing those strings through and tighten. Do it a few more times. And by the end, all of these strings should be, oh goodness. Yeah, it might make it easier on you to cut off these ends once you've tied them through the knot, through the loop. But again, this is the way that we're finishing the jar. So once you've gotten all of these loose strings here tied into this loop, then your jar is done. I'm going to take a step back and put this on time lapse, and I'll meet you when we're done with our jar. All right, so I have all of my ends tied to our loop on the bottom. You can see that it's really hard to set it down. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna chop all of these off, and then you'll have your fishnet jar. You can store things in here. You can put maybe some kind of plant in here, some very small plant. You could hang things in here. You could attach more string to our knots, but that's how we are making our Teen Try It fishnet mason jar. Thanks for watching.